CJ, DJ with the New York Daily News. How does it feel to be back out there, back on the field?
It's exciting. The 2 year hiatus, just excited to be on the field, excited to get some sunlight while I'm running around, excited to be in the locker room, making new friends with my teammates, building a relationship with the coaches, and just happy to be here.
CJ, we haven't had the opportunity to speak with you since you opted out. Could you just explain to us and the fans why you decided to opt out?
It was a tough decision. I talked it over with my family multiple times. I talked to my brother. I talked to Coach Gates at the time. I talked to other coaches. We even have a psychiatrist that was on staff with us that was with Coach Gates. I had multiple talks with her. So, and it was just the best decision for me and my family. And that's what ultimately it came down to.
Was it just obviously it was COVID related, but was it you, or did you have a family member that you were concerned about, or if you don't mind me just following up?
It was just more of a family decision, and at the end of the day, it was my decision as well. So I just felt it was the best thing for me to do.
CJ, what did you do, like, workout wise last season to stay in shape, and also how much time did you spend watching the Jets, and what was that like for you to watch that season from afar?
Well, when COVID first hit, I was here at the facility doing my rehab. Everything got shut down. So once I opted out and I went back to Alabama, and I just finished my rehab there in Alabama in Tuscaloosa, and I went to Birmingham with Dr. Andrews and Kevin and his staff and finished on my rehab. Then after that point, I was really just working out and keeping up with our staff's off-season program. So I talked to the old staff. So I talked to them about, just keep me aligned with the conditioning and the weightlifting that they was doing every week. So I was like pretty much just staying on task with that. And I watched every game. So whether the good, bad, and the ugly. So I mean, it was tough to watch from the couch, especially watch as a fan, because I was probably the first time I'd done that in a long time. So like I said, to the first question, I'm just happy to be back because all that's in the past now.
Personally, for you, 2019 obviously was rough. So how tough was it to not play last year and to be watching from the sideline when you probably felt like you could help?
It was definitely tough, being looked at as one of the leaders on the team, one of the veterans on the team. It was tough to make that decision. But, at the end of the day, man, you have to do what's best for you, and you have to do what's best for your family. I stayed in touch, with the linebacker room. I stayed in touch with, the linebacker coaches at that time. So, I mean, it was no hard feelings as far as our room went. So that made me feel a little more comfortable. But as a player, as a competitor, it was definitely tough to watch on from the side.
CJ, is it a weird feeling for you? You get the big contract 2 years ago in March of 19. Then 2019, you have the injury and really only played 2 games. And then last year, you opted out, so you weren't here. Is it a weird feeling that you're 2 years into being a Jet, but you've really barely been on the field as a Jet? Is it just kind of a strange feeling?
I definitely went back and forth on feelings as far as that aspect went. 2019 was tough. I probably was having one of the best games of my career at that point. Then I have the injury, and I was busting my butt to try to get back on the field, and I ended up re-injuring myself in the Patriots game. So I was pretty much playing on one leg until I got taken out. So just to go through that mindset and go through all the stuff I went through with that, and then COVID happened, which no one can control. It was definitely tough. It was definitely a mental just like a mindset that I have to kind of get over that hump. But in my opinion, I feel like I did the right thing. I took the necessary steps to be where I'm at right now, to be on this field, being in shape and getting back to making plays.
Could you just clarify too, how severe your injury was? Because I remember it was a groin injury at first, then it was core muscle injury. Like, just how serious that was, and what the road back has been like from that.
So the way the doctors explained it, you can get certain groin injuries. So mine was more towards my core. So I was rehabbing for a groin injury. Then once I got in the game, I ended up pulling my core muscle. So the way the doctor explained it is, if it's a high groin injury, sometimes that strain or that pull, it can get into your core muscle. So that's pretty much what happened. And as far as the rehab, man, after the surgery, it was a little tough. You couldn't get up, you couldn't talk, you couldn't laugh or anything. But after like 2 or 3 days, you was back. You was pretty much rehabbing and walking and doing all those things. So I mean, like I said, it was a grind, and a lot longer than I expected. But like I said, man, that's in the past, and we're here now.
CJ, I mean, obviously, they gave you a huge contract, and obviously an injury happened, and then you opted out. So those are a couple things that are kind of out of your control with the injury and the pandemic, obviously. But how much pressure do you feel this season to live up to the, significant amount of money they invested in you?
Pressure, I don't feel too much pressure. I mean, I'm a football player. That's what I've done my whole life. So I'm still the Stephen Curry quote. I mean, I don't have a lot to prove, but I got a lot to accomplish. So that's how I feel coming to this season. I'm not coming thinking like, oh, I need to do this or be this or do that. I just got to do my job. The same thing I've been doing this whole time in my career. So that's what I expect to do.
Where are you?
On the field, how much of a good fit do you feel that you are for the 4-3 Robert Saleh defense?
It's funny because people always ask, what do you prefer best? But man, defense, you play 4-3, 3-4. You play all the defenses. So it depends on the call. It depends on the formation. I can be in any spot. So I'm pretty comfortable, wherever I line up.
Where are you physically right now, and what's your level of confidence that you can get back to the level of play that you were before the injury?
Yeah, I feel very confident. Body feels great. I'm happy. I'm mentally happy, physically happy, emotionally happy, all that stuff. So I'm just happy to be back on this field. And you always, when you're out for a while, you always get in your head like, all right, when I get back, how's it going to feel? How's it going to feel? Am I going to be able to move like I used to? But after finishing this week, man, I feel great. Conditioning felt good. I've been moving around. So we're just taking it one step at a time at our position, our linebacker room, just trying to, learn this new system and, be the best we can be.
CJ, you were a 4-time Pro Bowler before you got here. With a 2-year layoff, is it realistic to think you can get back to being that Pro Bowl linebacker?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any doubts in myself. I mean, Gronk took 2 years off and won a Super Bowl. So, I mean, it is what it is. I'm here, so we'll just let the play do the talking.
CJ, back when the team signed, I think it was when the team signed Jarrett Davis in March, your name came up in some trade rumors, some reports. What was your reaction to that? And did you get any assurances from Joe or Robert or anyone about your future here?
Nah, didn't really care. Didn't think too much about it. So, I mean, I was up here working out since January anyway. So, if something's gonna happen, I probably would have heard something then.
Could we see you in different roles? I mean, we've always known you as a Mike linebacker. Might we see you in a variety of roles in this defense?
Right now in our room, everybody's playing different positions. And in my personal opinion, that's what I've done my whole career. Play Mike and Will, rotate both ways, and it's just good for the linebackers to know both positions, because anything can happen in the game if you switch up a lot the wrong way. It's good to know both positions so you can communicate more. And as a linebacker, you're supposed to know all the positions and know what everybody's supposed to do.
What's the next step, CJ, for you? I mean, you haven't had the pads on, I guess. Is that in August? Is that the next step for you?
Yeah, I mean, I checked off, being here, checked off, finished the first week of OTA. So personally, I just have to, just focus, learn this defense, be the best I can be. And yeah, when training camp comes, that's the next step.
Hey, CJ, it's Kim Jones from NFL Network. I'm so happy to see you again. I wondered if I could ask you 2 questions, please. For one, are you interested in what that first tackle or that first sack actually feels like?
Yeah, we will see. When we get the pads on, we'll get the head button and hitting people around. But, right now, obviously with OTAs, it's all about, learning the system, getting your footwork down, and for me, just building the confidence, in the defense, in our linebacker room, and in myself, to be one of the best linebacker cores in this league.
And you're highly respected around the league. I don't need to tell you that. You've also been around enough to know. Is there a Robert Saleh effect on a team, not just a defense, but on a team? I mean, have you noticed anything in your head coach? You're nodding. I think you know what I mean. Is there that
100%.
effect?
Yeah. First day here, man, he just brought the energy, and that's what you want from a head coach. This is his first day in. I spoke to him for a little while. Things with COVID was still a little shaky, so we just had a quick chat. But just being around him, this whole time, especially through this first week. He's been very formative and with the defense because just the technique that we play is just coached a little different. So, he's been all ears and he's been very formative when I've talked to him.
CJ, just following up on that, just can you describe, does the feeling in the building feel any different than, there's been a lot of losing that's gone on here the last couple of years. And I mean, what about the vibe in the building, if you could describe that? Is it different from what you saw the last time you were here?
Yeah, I mean, for starters, we have a head coach, defense coordinator, and offense coordinator that's been in the Super Bowl in the past 5 years. So we have a system that's shown to work. So our job as players to come in every day and make sure we buy into this system. We buy into the new way of the Jets, all gas, no brakes, and we bring it to the field when it's ready.
What do you think of Zach Wilson so far?
Composed. I talked to him, I think like the second day or the first day OTAs. I told him, man, just have all the confidence you need. Just have confidence in the defense, you got your back. So that's what you want from your quarterback. He's making plays out there. He's throwing the ball around. He's flying around. You don't see any hesitation in his throw. So that's his positive. It's good.
CJ, how much did you miss football? The grind, the watching tape, the ice baths, or whatever the heck you guys do back there? I mean, how much?
When you talk to older players, when they say, what you miss the most, every player's going to say, you miss the guys, you miss the locker room. So at the end of the day, I doubt any player's going to say, oh, I miss practice, I miss getting in the tub, I miss the pain. Maybe the old school ones, but that's definitely what I miss the most. So when I got in the locker room for that first time, everybody was there, just hearing all the conversations, people talking. It was just good to be back in that environment. So and like I said, it's good to learn the ways of the new guys, learn what motivates them, learn what they do and don't like. So that's what it's all about when you're building a team, when you're building a foundation. Knowing what gets them going, knowing what's going to make them the best player that they can be on and off the field.
I know it's only May, so I'm ahead of myself, but what the heck? Is there also a chip on your shoulder to remind people that CJ Mosley's a guy who plays on average 95, 96% of the snaps and makes a difference in every game he plays?
I would say it's a little added chip, just mainly because you always got your fans that's going to help us. So when I get back on the field, I definitely want to make sure they respecting the name again. Because as fans, you want your players to play, and unfortunately, I haven't been able to. So they had their right to do that. So I got to just make sure I do my job. So it's all good.
We'll take a couple more for CJ.
CJ, you talked about watching last year and how that was so weird for you, watching from your couch. Was it tough too, just because the team was struggling so much and you knew, people were going to lose jobs at the end of the season? What were your feelings like about that, about, you kind of being removed from that?
Yeah, well, that was my first time not playing football since I was 5 years old. So that was the biggest difference. But when your team's losing, you can't play, whether you opt out or whether you're injured. It's just frustrating because you want to be on the field to help. Whether I would have been there and we didn't, we won one game or not, if we won more games, you just want to be with the team. So I think that was probably just the toughest part. Just not being able to, listen to the conversation that was going on, see stuff on the field, talk it through, or just talk to the coaches, or just talk to guys, because I'm sure mentally that was a grind as well, more than physical. So I feel like if I was there, I probably could have helped the younger guys or talked to something like that. So like I said, just being a veteran in the league and just kind of being in certain situations before.
CJ, obviously the pandemic affected your life very significantly. You didn't play last season. What was it like? And I presume you did get vaccinated. What was it like emotionally for you when you got vaccinated?
So I was going back and forth on, whether to do it or not. But I talked to my parents, and once they got it done, I was like, well, I mean, it's no point for me not to get it done. And obviously I opted out because of COVID. So why come back and get COVID? I'll just be pretty silly, but sorry. But once I talked to my parents, they had got vaccinated. I was like, well, I mean, I feel like this is the right thing to do. So I went and got vaccinated as well.
CJ, when you
last one here,
after you opted out, you did an interview with Facebook Live for a charity, and you said something in regards to getting that flame back. What did you mean by that? And is the flame back?
Well, one, the flame's back 100%. I'm ready to go. And like I was alluding to earlier, with the injury from 2019, just that mental, emotional grind to try to get back on the field and then get hurt again. And then COVID happened. It was like, well, dang, what's going on? So that's kind of what I was alluding to on that aspect. It was just in a little funk at that time because you want to be on the field, you want to be productive, you want to prove that you came to the Jets to help this organization win and be one of the best players on the field and in the league. And when you can't do that, it's frustrating.